Let's see if I can give a little demonstration of my line-based or drawing-based meditation technique. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to start around in the middle of the page. And let's see if I can get a good angle here. So basically, I'm going to start in a random direction and I'm going to breathe and just stay with the line. Can you see there? Sometimes I'll open my eyes to make sure it's looking okay on the screen. It's funny, as I draw, I look down at my actual hand and then I look on the screen, and it kind of gets me a little bit confused. So let's just try to do the best we can. And I'm breathing deeply with my eyes closed, and basically my imagination, or my mind's eye, not imagination, but my mind's eye is, I guess I don't want to even say focused on, but I'm just staying with the line. That's all that I'm doing. My mind's eye is generating the image of me, or my hand and the pen tip specifically, drawing the line in real time. So with my eyes closed, and as I am drawing the line physically, I'm imagining the line being drawn in my mind's eye. And what happens when you stay with that, just stay in the present moment, a new direction emerges. And the directions that we're working in basically are the cardinal directions. So it's north, east, west, south, and the diagonals. And right now I'm trying to talk and hold up this paper as I try to do the meditation. So it's a real challenge, but it's a good challenge. I'm getting more used to it, actually, after giving quite a few of these demos. So here we go. Breathing, just staying with the line and changing direction. Never doubling back. I think that's important. We don't double back the same direction we just came in, or the opposite way that we just came in, right? So if I'm moving to the right like I am now, I'm not going to double back straight to the left, okay? So that is my line drawing meditation technique, and it is something that I call draw a line, change your life, because that's essentially what it did for me. Let me just adjust very quickly my orientation on my camera so it looks more like I'm looking at you guys. Let me just say it's pretty hot in here, so please excuse the perspiration. The technique, the meditation is, I'd like to think, and I feel that it is a combination of many different things happening within me, within my system, namely my logical or analytical mind and my intuition. My intuition, I like to think that it sends a signal to my mind, or my analytical mind, which then creates that image that I see of me changing direction, or the line essentially changing direction. So it's an angle that appears in my head. Once again, generated from my intuition. And I argue that this, as I have experienced it myself, it strengthens your intuition. It allows you to hear your inner voice and act upon it, as well as this leading to enhanced qualities. It leads to personal development, some of those qualities being creativity, confidence, and decision-making, among many other things. This technique has really been life-changing for me. It's allowed me to hear my inner voice. It's allowed me to hear and act upon it. You can think of your inner voice as being your gut instinct, or your gut feeling. So I felt that it was important for me to continue along with these videos, communicating this technique, and basically today going into a little bit about the origins of this technique, which essentially is a story of my own origins, at least within the past 15 years. We'll go back just about 12 to 15 years when I was basically jumping from job to job. Basically, everything from working in the field of architecture, being an educator, a teacher from the earliest levels, from preschool all the way up to the university level. I was a musician as well as a boxing instructor. I worked in construction, and I was working at various community colleges as a writing coach. So I moved from job to job and always kind of felt dissatisfied with myself and also with, just my professional life in general, moving from job to job because they never felt just right for me. I felt maybe that it's just something within my personality, like I need variety. And I think that maybe that is more or less true in general. I just couldn't stay in one place and do one thing for weeks on end, months on end. So this dissatisfaction came from just being, number one, as I mentioned, not being able to find the job that kind of synced with me the best. But it also was kind of focused around whether there was something wrong with me and why I couldn't just stay with one thing and, take all of the good and the bad that comes with it and just roll with it and, kind of develop myself and climb the ladder within it. So there was personal dissatisfaction, which, kind of led to me believing that I had a lack of focus. I was feeling stuck and depression settled in, kind of a low grade, ongoing depression for many, many years. My parents died, and that really kind of affected me. I have to say that we all make choices in our lives, and I made mine. And my choices were basically to move from job to job and work part-time, multiple part-time gigs, trying to find what was right for me. I think it's difficult to have perspective when you're in the middle of something, especially when maybe your judgment is a little clouded by depression and sort of this negative self-image that I've been referring to. And again, I have to emphasize that this was my decision. So everything up to that point, up to this point in my life, is because of my own decisions, and I take full responsibility for them. But it's also, I think, important to reflect and look at some of the other influences that can play a part in one's life. For example, social conditioning, which I know played an important role, namely from, parents, teachers, and just the society as a whole. My friends, seeing other people just kind of do the conventional thing, go to college, get a job, get married, these kinds of things, and work your way up in a single profession, specializing on a single skill for your professional life, your entire professional life. So I saw this as being the norm and what was kind of the goal, right? And so it wasn't that I was unfocused or floundering. It was that I believed that that was the case. And so I felt behind. Instead of maybe seeing the positives, looking at my situation, sort of flipping that coin and seeing the fact that what I was doing was really good for me, right? It was a good thing. It gave me a lot of perspective, flexibility, ingenuity. It made me versatile, adaptable, well-rounded, multifaceted, and all of these things, right? Which I now understand it to be the case. For so many years, I heard my parents telling me, and this is again the social conditioning aspect, well, this is my parents would say, like, you gotta get on the ball. You can't just be jumping around like this. You're not going to make a good life for yourself. So I heard that a lot. Get focused. You're too all over the place, and it really sunk in. It took a long while. It took a long time for me to kind of deprogram myself. I'm glad I did. So in my early 40s, this is kind of at the tail end of my professional life in terms of working. I'm 49 now. I was working in construction and I was teaching some boxing classes at a local gym. And I had a back injury, which was life-changing. It led to surgery because that was what the doctors said was the only way. It was the only way for me to kind of free myself from the nerve pain that I was getting down my leg. I had 3 herniated discs, and one of them was causing so much pressure on a nerve that the doctor was worried I'd have permanent damage to my right leg as a result. I was very blessed. I had the surgery, and it was a very intensive, life-changing surgery. I've never had any kind of procedure done like that before in my life. And I am very lucky. It took a long time. It was about a 1.5 year experience, but I made a full recovery. And I'm very happy to say that I'm doing well right now, and I'm able to do more or less anything that I want to. I'm very active in terms of when I say I'm able to do anything I want, I'm able to push myself physically in terms of you know exercise, working out. I'm able to do that, and it's very important in my life. It really helps my mind and my body. I need to be very physically active every single day. So during this time, actually as early as my early 30s, so 20 years ago, starting about 20 years ago, I began drinking more regularly. The drinking became more habitual beginning in my early 30s, and it just sort of it lasted for a good 15 years in terms of just kind of getting more and more heavy, drinking more and more, my tolerance getting stronger and stronger, so needing to drink more and more. And it was a gradual thing. When I had, during the initial periods of my back injury and surgery and recovery, I was prescribed painkillers. And so I got used to taking those. I don't know if I don't think I'll say that I was fully addicted to the painkillers, but they certainly felt good when I was taking them, and it was hard to get off of them. But while I was taking them, I was not drinking. And so that urge to drink was even stronger, I think. And so I got off of the pills and started drinking even more. It became worse, and I supplemented the alcohol with THC, and also just kind of coupling or using those two substances while doom scrolling rather. So the screen time became an addiction as well, and I think for a lot of us, to a certain extent, it is. But I kind of I've used that. I used that screen time as a way to strengthen not only the screen addiction, but the other two addictions. So essentially they fed into each other, and it was a recipe for disaster. So starting at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, that was my time, and I would go through quite a bit of alcohol, THC, and screen time, all the way up till 1:32 in the morning. So sleep became an issue, like I would get very little sleep. I was needing to feel numb and needing to escape reality, I had at the time and still to this day have a beautiful family, my son and my wife, who give who support me and who provide meaning for me. They're my world, and basically, I'm so blessed to have them. I'm so lucky, and I'm very grateful. But even with the that support and that comfort of having a wonderful family, I still needed that escape. Now, a health scare sort of woke me up. It was like someone pouring ice cold water on me. And I don't want to get too far into that, but the health scare was definitely a result of what I was doing to my mind and my body and my spirit too. So I woke up and I got clean. It took me 2 months to get clean. I'm very proud of that. Because I don't want to say that. I don't know if that's the right way of expressing it, but I'm very grateful. Maybe it's not pride. I'm just grateful that I was able to emerge so quickly from this pretty deep substance abuse problem. For some, it takes many more months and years. I was able to do it, at least I believe, because of my sort of jumping into the world of creativity and my own ability to be creative, and using that as a kind of therapy. So I basically started writing, drawing, composing music, and these are all things that I used to do, but was totally divorced from for maybe over 20 years. The other thing that I returned to was meditating. So these were probably the four biggest things that really helped me turn things around. And I guess the timing was just right, where one day I just thought of this meditation exercise, draw a line, change your life. It came to me very, I guess, randomly, and it really surprised me. It took about 3 days to develop. And I think, excuse me, I'd like to think again, it's my body or my intuition telling me that I needed to let something out in order to kind of reestablish a balance, to become healthier in mind, body, and spirit. And I also, in terms of the balance part, I think back on, or I like to think it's connected to something in terms of one's childhood and my childhood, being able to kind of express myself like a child through creative practice. And so, again, it surprised me in the sense that I didn't know I was surprised that I could create something that my intuition kind of told me, and I was able to act upon it, and I implemented it. Something that would be able to improve my condition, develop me in a personal manner, and just improve my life overall. So I was surprised that I could actually come up with this, that this thing would emerge. I was surprised, and it also kind of makes a certain amount of good sense as well. So that's my journey in a nutshell for these past 15 years. There's a lot of detail missing, and I'd like to also get into that too, if there is interest. And the reason why I'm going into this, because, I wanted to give you a little context of, I want to give some context for this drawing-based meditation technique, and to kind of communicate to you why it means so much to me, to let you know how much I value this. And if you can kind of have an idea or feel some parallels with my story. Maybe this technique can help you as well, and it's very simple to do. My mission now is, among other things, to share something like this, to share this, and other aspects of my life's work. This is a big part of it, actually. It gives me meaning and provides a lot of joy to be able to get this out into the world, share it, and hopefully help people improve their lives. I'm not saying that this is a magic bullet and will be able to solve all of your problems, but it is one small concrete thing, one small habit that I believe with certainty can create positive change in your life. Something that you will be able to feel the positive results from relatively quickly. If you want a more detailed introduction to the technique, I do have another YouTube video, which I'll provide a link below, as well as another link to my website, which has the first part of a free mini course. That mini course essentially takes you through step-by-step exercises that allow you to kind of dip your toe in the water, get used to the operation or the mechanic itself, and kind of prepares you for a deeper exploration of the meditation. So again, that's all on my website. I also have a email contact form at the bottom of my homepage on that website. So you can provide your email and any kind of comment or message you may have. If you are interested in the technique, and you can try it on your own, or you can ask me for any kind of guidance, I'd be happy to give it to you. Or even if you would like to kind of delve into it a little more deeply on a one-on-one basis, I'm available and we can have a free consultation. I'd love to get to know you and see if the technique will work for you, and I'm sure it will. So that's about all I'd like to communicate in this video. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I'm glad that I'm able to communicate this information, and I hope you've stuck with me. And why don't we just move forward? So until next time, thanks very much.